Hello, this is Buford Jones, and welcome to Buford's Reviews, where I review Black created movies that are shown primarily on the Tubi streaming network. Now, if you don't have the Tubi streaming network, please download it to your phone, tablet, or streaming device. It is free to watch. Today I am traveling, and so as usual, the videos will come from my car, but hopefully it'll still be a good one. So we will jump right in. Today's video is for the movie called Love Beat the Hell Out of Me. Now I know I said I was going to do a different one first, but this one had to jump up. Yeah, I watched it and I thought I need to go ahead and make this one. So we're going to jump right into this. Now, this movie was written and directed by Maurice Jones. So, in this movie we have Renee and Antonio, who are a married couple, and they have a young son. Apparently this is set in Atlanta. So, it appears that Renee is a hairdresser and Antonio is a studio owner slash attorney slash I don't know. But in this, Antonio loses his job in his law office because he sleeps with a woman in the office. One of his co-workers, a new co-worker. And so he gets fired and loses his job. He doesn't tell his wife, who finds out from her brother, who is an acquaintance. Of course he knows Antonio, but they kind of run in the same circles. And the brother tells Renee that Antonio lost his job for sleeping with a woman in the office. Because of that, Antonio beats Renee with his fists, beats her down in the kitchen, makes her cook him some food, and pulls a gun on her and threatens her. And that is the general gist of the movie. From there it gets crazy, because what seemingly happens is Renee's brother finds out that Antonio beat her up. He follows him. When Antonio gets out of the car and is going somewhere, I guess to his studio, he shoots him a bunch of times, like 8 times, and kills him, apparently. They're seen at the funeral. It's an open casket. They're the only 2 in attendance. And Renee cries as the pastor closes the lid on the casket. And then that's that. In the next scene, Renee goes to visit Antonio's mother. Now, I'm going to kind of pause here because Antonio's mother begins telling Renee a story about Antonio's father, who she was apparently married to, and how he changed based on some people he hung out with, and yada yada yada. I'm gonna say it like that because this was easily the hardest scene to watch, since the mother was I'm not even gonna try to be nice because this is a Ratchet review. The mother was like the worst actress I've ever seen. Actor, actress, whatever. Ever seen in any movie ever. Including the Easter play at your local church with the 6-year-olds. Yeah. I mean, if she'd have been in that, the kids would have been laughing at her. But there is no mention of Antonio's death. And at the end of the conversation, the mother tells Renee to get out, to take the child and leave. So At that point, it's kind of odd. You're like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. So then from there, then Antonio just shows back up as if he's still alive. And then things get really crazy. So at that point, we find out that Antonio is on drugs, and he starts living with a pimp, a woman that's a pimp. She's his pimp. Yeah. This is a Ratchet review, right? Yeah. So I'm not even going to go into the rest. It's just, this is one you have to watch if you can take it, because it's pretty damn ratchet. Let's just say in the end, the title is very appropriate. Love beat the hell out of Renee, apparently. So let's get into the good. The first good is the title. The title is good. At first, I thought, this is a dumb title. There's really only one scene of him beating her. But as it was pointed out to me, it's not about her getting beat with fists. The title is Love Beat the Hell Out of Me. And as you'll see, Love did beat the hell out of her. She put herself in situations over and over where her love guided the things that she did, and it cost her. So, yeah. The only other good thing I can really think of is it was done. I'm going to always say that. It was done. Maurice Jones, who wrote and produced this and directed it, he did it. He had a vision and he carried it through. And that is worth saying something about. That is a positive thing. And I will always commend my black creators who have the determination to go through, to see something all the way through. For that, big up. And that's about where it ends. There is not much good about this movie. We'll go into the bad now. So, alright, so the first bad point would be the characters. So Renee and Antonio. Antonio's supposed to be this highly coveted guy, and they have a young child who's about 7, maybe. Okay. The lady who plays Renee looks to be maybe, giving her the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to say 35. The guy who plays Antonio looks to be, giving him the benefit of the doubt, 117. Now he's probably 60. This ain't no young guy. He's trying to act like a young guy because he's going in, they talking about freestyling, and he supposedly knows all this stuff about the studio. We'll get to that part because that was ridiculous. But anyway, and maybe he does. However, so they're too old to have a kid that young, and they're not playing as if they're older. They're trying to act as if we're supposed to believe they're like in their 20s. Yeah. The lady who plays his mother, it's got to be his age, and maybe even younger than he is. So, yeah. The second thing would be, just like the mother, the acting. The acting is abysmal. You can look that word up if you don't know it. You can probably tell just by the way I used it if you're not familiar with it. It doesn't mean anything good. Yeah, this acting is horrible. It's again, I'll use the elementary school Easter play. At your church, you got a couple little kids, and there's some grown-ups standing to the side. You can see them. They're not even on a stage. They're like in the fellowship hall or something, and you can hear her telling the kids the lines, and they're looking over there to get the lines. Yeah, the acting was kind of like that. It was completely unbelievable. There was not a single trained thespian on the set, I'm certain, not even watching. So yeah. Also, the sound and the video recording was horrible. It was worse than me here on my phone. It was more like they recorded it straight to VHS, maybe. Yeah. From a VCR. So, yeah, so at one point, Renee's brother was in the studio, in the booth, rhyming. Yeah. I really shouldn't even mention that part. It was so out of place and ridiculous and unbelievable and booty whack. Booty whack. That's a vocabulary word for you. Yeah, it was terrible. Then there's the fact that Antonio, who dresses like the two old car salesmen. That's kind of the way he dresses. He's supposedly an attorney. And at one point he won something of some award, attorney of the district or something, that their office manager was going to give him the recognition to let him know, hey, you won this prestige. And she walks in and catches him with the new hire bent over. Of course, he doesn't even stop. He kind of thinks it's funny and keeps going, even after he gets fired. And then he tries to act like he's outraged, like she did something to him. She finds it funny and says something that kind of alludes to the fact that she's going to come back later and be an issue in the movie. But of course she's not, because we get to the next bad point. The writing of this movie was horrible. The writing of this movie, it was like 12 fourth graders got together and were told to write a movie or write a story, and they did, and he used all 12 of their input. Yeah, it was all over the place. It was goofball and unbelievable. The scenarios were wild and crazy, not in a good way. So in here I will put my normal plug. People need help with these writing of these movies. Some people can make movies, and some people can write movies. Oftentimes, people that write them can't make them, and vice versa. I can write movies. If you need my help, hit me up right here. I will write you a movie. We can discuss this. Let's have a conversation. Anyone who needs the help, not only you, Maurice Jones, but anyone else who thinks they want to make a movie and they want one with at least a cohesive script. And I can do you better than that. We can write a movie about any subject, any way that you want it. But I digress. What was up with Antonio dying in the middle of the movie, then coming back? I've heard other opinions that this was a dream sequence. It didn't seem like a dream sequence. They didn't make that clear. So, okay, we'll give it to them. It was a dream sequence. That's booty. You can do better than that. And so now on to Ratchetness. As seen in my explanation videos, there are certain things that make videos ratchet, movies ratchet. Bad writing can make it ratchet. Excessive use of the N-word can make it ratchet. Unneeded violence or different things, scenarios, the way people are acting. I mean, people know what ratchet means, but my criteria for calling a movie ratchet and for issuing ratchets. So, I'll say this. In this one hits almost every mark, except there wasn't excessive N-word use. There was some, but not excessive. And then also, strip clubs did not enter into this movie anywhere. There was no strip club. However, there was extended use of crack house scenes. Oh, one more thing that I forgot to mention as far as bad parts. There was some scenes with some cops where they're investigating a crime that went absolutely nowhere. It was completely unneeded. When I say something's unneeded, that means, for me, if they took it out of the movie, you wouldn't even notice it. It has no bearing anywhere in the movie. So, and in that, they use some crack house scenes where, so of course, the inside of a crack house and what goes on, even though it was whack, it kind of made it ratchet. Antonio being too old to be doing the stuff he's doing. The many gratuitous, not many, but a couple of gratuitous sex scenes. Every sex scene in it was gratuitous, meaning it wasn't needed there. There was one scene where Antonio has sex in the car with some lady. Yeah. So, with everything all added up, included, this is a milestone. This is the very first 10 Ratchet movie. This is definitely a 10 Ratchet movie. Now, as usual, I'm hoping that you'll like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. But I really want to see the comments. I want to see what you think about this movie. Put down in the comments if you agree with what I said or disagree, or if you haven't seen it, please watch it and then come back and let me know what you think about it. Is it deserving of 10 Ratchets? At the end of the season, I will have an award for the most Ratchet movie review. And as usual, if you want to discuss with me anything about filmmaking or the like, or writing, especially if you are wanting a script written, needing a script written, want to discuss it, want your script read, however you want to do that, please hit me right here. This is my email address. And in the subject line, put the word script. I will get back to you. And, let's talk about it. As usual, thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm not exactly sure which one will be next, but it will be one of the ones that I mentioned before. So I'll go back and look to make sure which ones those are. And but if you watch those, you'll be prepared. It'll either be Father Knows Best or Against All Odds, I believe. Not Father Knows Best. We did Father Knows Best. It'll be Daddy Dearest or Against All Odds. So, thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this Ratchet.